Hello again, Yash. Good to see you.
Hello. Good to see you.
I've got
I
my.
was
Go
before
ahead.
the stream I was complimenting your outfit, but I'd like to put it on record again. I love those shades. Those are so good.
These are my Miami Vice shades, True
Yes.
Dark. Helps with the blue light from the screen. I've noticed it does help keep my eyes from drying out, so I should wear them more. They're fancy.
Oh, isn't there like a movie like Swordfish, like the hacker movie? Doesn't the main hacker guy like also have like
Probably
the
swordfish. Let's see.
yeah, like he's like was it with like Halle Berry and there's like a cube and hacking is like this like 3D very impressive 90s CGI and then
Hmm.
he's a hacker because he wears the shades.
I don't think I've seen that one, but I
Okay.
definitely know. I know the sentiment that you're going for. Oh, the other recent news since our last conversation, I was inspired to go back to this little device.
Ooh, that's the light phone.
Yep, the Light Phone 2. So I dumbed down my smartphone and I have a massive reading list that I've compiled that I hope to get to instead. So I've been carrying around books instead. Right now,
All
it's a
right.
book on cryptography, which is a little mind bending.
Yeah.
But
It would be surprising if your book on cryptography was like not cryptic, it's like it's
yeah,
actually
I
very
think that
accessible.
I keep running. I think I'll probably have to revisit some math at some point
Oh.
because I keep running into just a little bit higher level math than I remember. Like
Ah.
modulus and things like that. There's a lot of that in there. But yeah, I guess to get started, I think where we left off, let's dive back into my code here. Reload the context of what we did Monday, which seems like
Yes.
forever ago.
It does.
Is this the right one? Yes. So what we did, let's just kind of close this up. What we did on Friday was we were looking at how we could get a Wasm component uploaded to GitHub container registry through an OCI artifact. And so we
Mhm.
had this the Wasm OCI layout. Let me put that in the chat that we were looking at. And so this is kind of lays out well, it lays out the OCI layout that you need to have for the artifact. And so if we look at this, we can kind of tell.
Sorry, I'm a little distracted.
Oh, that's
Look,
okay. How's
look, look
where's
on
the
look on
cat
my
cam?
screen. The cat cam's right here. She came over, she was meowing, she was like, "Hello, I'd like attention." I was like, "Okay, I can't say no." Oh, oh no. Oh wait, you. Oh, I thought you like dropped entirely. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Just get what
It's
the
all
people
you.
want. Like,
It's
yeah.
just you.
Sorry. What
No,
were
it's
you
all good.
saying? I was completely lost.
Distracted. So I think it would be
Yes.
helpful. There's this blog post a friend of mine wrote a while back on
Uh-huh.
understanding container images OCI image specification. I'll drop that. His name's Ravi. He's a
Uh-huh.
distinguished engineer at Dell.
Okay.
Um, he writes a lot of good stuff, and we've been on the same like learning path for a while now. Let me
Mhm.
just. So yeah, that's probably too long to type. But if you look in the chat, anybody that's tuned in, you can
Yeah.
click that link and go there. But let me pull it up quick because it does a good job of just explaining the layout because that's important for what we're about to do.
Okay.
And it helped me build a good mental model.
Nice.
So I should probably pull this out in a different tab. 1 second. There we go. That way I don't accidentally share StreamYard and then the inception begins, like the OBS
Mm,
inception.
yes.
But there.
Do you have multiple monitors or just the one?
Just the one right now. I'm thinking about getting a
Uh,
portable 15 so I can keep it. I'll probably end up doing that. Because I have a desktop computer, so I don't have the nice luxury of just opening a lid and closing it.
right.
And I also don't like when I'm most of the time when I'm just working and developing. I like a single 27-inch monitor. I don't like to have one off to the side and stuff that I never use. So I think the
I
portable one
see.
will be a good option. But if we look at this blog post, the
Yes.
kind of the main thing, this is a really good image that you can reference. So I don't know if I can make it bigger there. So there's the image index. And then that image index points to other manifests. Now, the reason for that is with containers would be if you had multiple architectures that you're supporting with a particular container image, you need more than one manifest, and that gives the reason for the image index where it says, hey, here are a list of all the
Oh,
manifests, and there's configurations and blobs and layers and so forth for x86 or ARM or whatever. So the multiple architectures are going to be defined in different manifests. So that's the
I
purpose of
see.
the image index. Not nearly as relevant for components because we don't have to worry about the architecture.
Right.
But needless to say, we still need that top level image index. Underneath that is the manifest uh,
Mhm.
of the actual container image, or in this case, Wasm component. And then the Wasm component then, that manifest then links to its configuration for the component. And then the
Mhm.
blobs, which we found out on the last stream, are actually just a hashed version of the component itself. So they're really just taking
Ooh.
like SHA-256 sum, giving it a new file name with that, so that way that value can be put into the image manifest, and that's what's actually stored underneath blobs as layers.
Oh,
Uh,
I've got a stupid idea.
what's that?
What if we? So we've been talking about like, what if we stick a? This is a bad. This is such a bad idea, but I kind of wonder now. So we're talking about. Okay, hold on. How do I phrase this? When we put Wasm time and Docker in a container,
Mhm.
that is itself an OCI image with Wasm time contained.
Right.
What if we did that for, say, x86 or something, and we treated the actual Wasm binary as just another architecture, where we give you a fast path? So if you want to, okay, if you want to deploy to Docker or something, right? Or sorry, your existing Kubernetes cluster or container apps or whatever, then it will pick the Docker version with Wasm time within it, and it's
Mhm.
like it'll do that thing. But if you say deploy to spin, then it will see that you have a manifest that's just Wasm specific that only targets the little itty bitty like Wasm binary, and it can just pick that, ignore the runtime. The downside is you're shipping around a really big thing. The upside is potentially it will work anywhere, and it even smooths out that transition path. I don't know if it's possible, but
Okay, so ship the runtime. Use the architecture field in the manifest as the runtime.
the architecture field and
So,
manifest as
like you're saying, I'm trying to
okay.
compute what that would look like. So if you have in your manifest, what is
Mhm.
it you're proposing to put in there?
Okay, so right now we have, when we're targeting Docker, right?
Mhm.
Then we have our image index. Then
Right.
in our manifest, they'll say x86 um, Docker or OCI, whatever the Docker specification is,
Okay.
and that has its config and blobs and all that stuff.
Right.
And when we're building Wasm time on Docker, it goes in there and it says, "Hey, we're targeting x86. Here's how we know how to run x86."
Okay.
And then within that, we also stick the WebAssembly binary, right? So it's
Oh.
fully self-contained. What if next to x86 we had, here's native Wasm? Maybe.
Okay. So you could add the runtime as another image manifest, and then the runtime is actually stored within inside one of the blob layers. So
Uh,
you're shipping the runtime with the component in this manifest without needing to use Docker. Is that the goal?
no,
Okay.
hold on.
I'm just
Ooh,
not
I'm
following.
I'm doing a bad job explaining it. So okay. So a thing we've built, right, is a Docker image, like a compiled container
Yes.
with Wasm time inside of it, as well as some program, right? Some
Mhm.
the little Clippy server.
Yeah, they're just the component itself. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a thing, right?
Mhm.
However, if you try and like deploy that thing to spin, it won't run, right? Because
Right.
it says like, hey, I'm a Docker image. Like, and spin says I don't expect Docker images. I expect WebAssembly components. I know how to run those. Now, what if in addition to that, so you take that existing image, you added a secondary manifest within that same image that was like, okay, but here's the special version that is just the WebAssembly binary. and now you have a single binary, or your Docker container can also run inside of Spin. It's a hybrid container image, almost. Not almost.
Okay,
It would
okay, I
be.
see what you're saying. So taking the same, putting both variants in the same image manifest or image
Yes.
index. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work. But if theoretically it should, because if the manifest is different, you would just key off of its configuration and it
Hmm.
would know, okay, well,
Hmm.
this toast doesn't have this. The runtime itself or the daemon wouldn't
Hmm.
would be able to look at that and say, okay, well, I don't have Docker installed, so I can use this one, or I don't have so forth installed, then it could run whatever in theory it should work, just as it's determining the different architectures.
Yes. Now, what
Okay.
I'm really curious about is whether tools like ORAS can say, I'm going to pull an image, but I'm only interested in x86. Does that still pull like all of the other layers, or can it just get the x86 layers?
Good question. I don't know. I don't know if it has to pull down the image index and then all the accompanying manifests and its
Uh-huh.
layers, or if you can specify a particular manifest in an index. I would imagine you would be able to, but I've never done that.
Yeah. Okay. 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 But by the way, this is not something we have to like chase down right this moment. But
It's
I'm
interesting.
looking
Yeah.
at this being like, oh, that's fun. So we're keying by architecture. What if WebAssembly was like our architecture? Could we do that? We kind of already do. So I don't know.
Yeah. For 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No worries. You
Got
good?
right to stop by. Yep, we're good.
Okay.
Let's see here. So yeah, back to where we were. So
Uh-huh.
understanding these layers. So what we're trying to do, kind of reset the context. We had figured out the Docker path. We've
Uh-huh.
gotten Docker images up there on GHC. We were able to pull them down and run them. So we're able to put the runtime and the component into a container and run it that way.
Yes.
So what we're trying to figure out now is, and the other scenarios where we want to run the component in some kind of environment like Spin, how do we distribute the component itself, just the component, no
Yes.
runtime, to a registry?
Yes.
And so that's what led us down this route to understanding the layout. And I think this blog post does a really good job of just explaining the OCI layout. So then
Mhm.
I'll dive back into code here in a second and we can see, basically we pulled down the component and they reconstructed this based on, let me switch to this tab, the artifact layout for WebAssembly, which is in this blog post
Can
here.
you give me 1 second? My cat is eating my flowers. I don't know if you can see, but like
No
there's
problem.
flowers here, and she's attacking. I think she wants food. I think what's happening, she's hungry and she's protesting.
Oh, feel free to step away for a sec. I can keep
Yeah.
driving.
I'm gonna. I'll be right here with this little gremlin. This one right here. You have food. Eat your food. No? Okay. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
She has an
Life
entire plate
happens.
of food, does not want to eat her food. She's like, I would like treats. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not getting treats if you're misbehaving. So, anyway, sorry. Okay,
Let's see
you were
here.
saying.
Yes. So interesting. My WSL instance just crashed. 1 second. But anyway, so yeah, we're looking at the Wasm OCR artifact layout. So this is going to mirror what the container layout looks like. And if you looked at that, there is the manifest format. And so this is defining what this would be, a manifest one,
Yes.
right? So it does wrap all of them in an image index, which we'll see in a second. But then the image, our manifest one, is really what this is defining here, where it has this type of Wasm config for the configuration, and then it has this OCI image type for the media type. And so that's indicating that it is a manifest. And then we have the actual media type for the application of Wasm, which will point to the component itself that was hashed. So let's see if my code instance is returned. It has not. 1 second.
Okay.
You can. Weird. Oh no, it did not do that to me.
Oh, what happened?
It installed a cumulative update that I'm pretty sure just destroyed my WSL instances.
Oh no. Wait,
Sad
it can
days.
do that?
Yeah, it must have updated something because it's as soon as that finished and prompted me to restart, it says no dice on starting new instances.
Ooh.
Let's see if I can't restart it.
I would hope it would be able to. Like a lot of people, they use WSL just as their dev environment. That just getting like obliterated seems bad.
I think it just like stopped some of the services talking to Windows, which is more likely the case because I can still shell around in it.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Oh, so you might need to reboot or something to like get it going again.
I might.
Ooh. Well, not quite as bad. Mostly annoying if you're live streaming, but otherwise,
it's not too bad. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Maybe I can open it from Windows because I really just need to look at files. Quick, 1 second. It's thinking very hard. Well, wait. I'm pretty sure this is the tooling that you were talking about. There it is. Yeah. So some tooling to do exactly what we're trying to do does exist. Unironically written in Go. I'll have you know.
What tooling are you talking about?
The Wasm to OCI.
Wasm to OCI. Engineered. Oh, fun. Let's see how old this is. Okay, so this will likely not be following the spec.
Oh, okay. That's completely different.
Yeah, I'm seeing last commit 3 years ago. The spec was ratified last month. So
probably not.
Yep. I can point you to like the packaging Wasm as OCI is like not a new idea. But the Wasm package tools we can use. There's an OpenPR to enable publishing. Okay. And I imagine that will include also like that, or not imagine, that definitely also includes the encoding. So taking Wasm, encoding it OCI, and then actually publishing to GHCR as part of that flow.
What would the encoding process do?
It takes a .wasm file and converts it to the right layers and blobs and all that stuff.
Oh, okay. So that would take care of the hashing.
Yes, correct. Of course, we can go through the motions of like encoding it ourselves.
Yeah, I thought that would be fun to do. I unfortunately might have to restart.
Okay.
But I don't know if I leave, if it kills the stream.
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, it might keep the studio open because if I don't click in stream.
What we can also do is we could hack on it like from my computer. We just flip it around.
Okay.
Because we already have the like some form of packaging we already have like working, or sorry, we have .wasm files we can package. Like
Yeah,
which one's
essentially all you
reference?
need to do is just pull down, like use ORAS to pull down one of the components that's hosted up there, and then we could look at that, and then we could recreate our own. But
Yeah.
here, let me click this button real quick and see if it kills
Okay.
everything, and then I'll see if I can come back.
Okay. Okay, so we've lost Josh. Y'all just have to deal with me now. And my little chaos gremlins of kittens. Oh, you're still here. Hey.
Yeah. So if I leave and restart, it won't kill it. So I'll just go ahead and
Okay.
that. Feel free to do what you want while I'm gone. I can put on some lo-fi music for you.
Oh, you think I can't like fill 5 minutes with
Oh, I'm
just
sure
my
you
voice?
can,
I
but
can. No, yeah.
I have no doubts. All right, I'll be back.
For
My
sure. Okay.
apologies.
No, you're fine. You're fine. See you soon.
See you soon.
All right. What do we want to do? Quick. I guess what I could do is I could show some fun stuff. We could try and get the ORAS working and pull some stuff down. That's another option. I don't know if people in chat have like any preferences. Let me know. Also build a custom Wasm time instance I can show off. But maybe if we like look at the maybe if we like look at the whackage tools, that might actually like work the best, which is the WebAssembly packaging stuff. I'm just frantically over here like closing all of my windows so I can actually share my screen without leaking any things I shouldn't be sharing. Let me try that. Okay. I say let's clone Whackage, check out the PR that folks have been working on, and then see if we can use that to encode a little image. See how that works. And then we just go from there. And then at some point Josh joins us and I could be like, hey, check it out. Here's the working code. Here's the working things. Okay. Whackage, Wasm, package, tools. Hold on, I might have a local copy. Okay, I am going to screen share. Do you have a... Yes. Okay, great. Okay. I will screen share. Screen sharing. Ooh, there's a whole like thing with tips and stuff and things and README Markdown. Yes. Allow share. Okay. Can people see the stream? Or do we need a, oh my gosh, I think we need a Josh to like allow it. So I don't have like the full like, what do you call it? Admin permissions to like show it. He's like the showrunner here. So I'm over here just being like, oh, can I screen share? And I don't think I can screen share. That's okay. I have a local copy now. And then once Josh is back, we can share that then. Anyway, yes. So yeah, maybe to like briefly or maybe to like share some things about Wasm package tools. If you go to, I can't even like paste the links in chat. It's so funny. But Wasm package tools is currently in progress, being developed to make it easy to package WebAssembly binaries as OCI format. So it takes a Wasm component, converts it to OCI format, and then you have that, and then you can upload it to an OCI registry, which also uses the OCI wire protocol, and then it sits there and can like eventually pull them down as well. Right now, I believe the Wasm package tools supports encoding it, but not yet the pushing and pulling. That is currently an open PR. So what I was thinking is we can pull that PR down, check it out, and then try and push it somewhere, push something somewhere. The other thing we could do is extend that PR to give it additional metadata. So on the last stream, we were looking at, again, I can't share any screen, so I'm just sitting here trying to make sense. But there was metadata on the WebAssembly component, or sorry, the OCI thing. There, like you can add metadata, but we weren't yet adding metadata. And filing a PR to add that might actually be quite nice. The WebAssembly format has several specified metadata fields. So it will, I think it has a description. I think it may also have a license. But those are represented in OCI as well using standard. I think that it's called so OCI is like in JSON. We were just looking at it, and there's like some fields, and you can add. There's specific keys, I believe, from open containers that describe like, hey, here's the SPDX like license identifier. Stick that in here. Here's where you put the description. We can do a couple of those, and those will be rendered in GitHub, so that you can take your the flow that I want. I think I told Josh this already, but the flow that I want is, or the flow that I'm very keen on, is enable language developers in their native programming language with their native like tool chains to just write things the way they would do it, enable them to target WebAssembly components, and then I don't know, in Rust this would be cargo toml, or in JavaScript it would be your package JSON, but there'll be like a license field, and then you compile that to WebAssembly. It takes the license field with, it will put it inside of your WebAssembly binary. It'll be like, hello, here I am. I am licensed as MIT or something. And then now it sits in your .wasm file. Once you're like, okay, I'd like to publish this thing to a registry, then the OCI conversion tool knows that, oh, this thing has this description or this license. I will encode it in a known location inside of my OCI compiled artifact. And then registries such as GitHub's container registry, JCR. I think it's kind of like an LLVM situation where it's like LLVM stands for LLVM. The moment we stop like uploading containers, but it's component. Oh, maybe GitHub component registry, GHCR. I don't know. JCR means JCR at this point. But on the GitHub artifacts page, you'll then see for WebAssembly components, you'll nicely see like, here's this component was licensed under this license, and then we can add like descriptions to it. It already supports versions. There's a bunch of like other like open container things. Hey,
I'm back.
Okay, funny story. When you're gone, I can't screen share.
What?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
well, that's terrible.
So
news.
I've got a lovely window queued up to like screen share, and I was like, oh, but I can't say present this.
Oh,
So
because you're not the host. There, is that
I'm
what
not
you're
the
looking
host.
for?
Yep, that is indeed what I was
I don't know
looking
if we
for.
can have two hosts, but
It's all fine. I was talking people's
we'll have to
ears
figure
off. Yes. Okay. So I want to show you this. Ooh, hold on. Is this? Ooh, yeah. Okay. This is good. Okay. I want to show you this crate. This is Wasm package tools, which is intended to be the canonical place where we do all of the OCI packaging, publishing, pulling, all of that in a single thing. There's a little command here called whackage, or I don't know how people like pronounce it, but I call it whackage. And this is going to like contain everything that we need to do. Right now, there's a open PR, and I can try and check that out. Actually, you can't. Okay, I'm only sharing my window. But if we pull that down, then we should suddenly see a bunch of commands. the get command, there's a push command somewhere. You know what? I'm going to install this, or I'm going to run this. Cargo run -- bin whackage, I think, should do it. Then we can look at what the CLI has to offer us, and then we can potentially push and pull something with it, or even encode it, decode it, take a look at things. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so whackage OCI subcommand. Yes, and then we get a pull and a push command.
Okay.
So if we say cargo bin OCI pull, then we can probably point it at a GHCR instance. What's the URL again? For the we had one we were playing. Was it IO or HTTP or something?
HTTP is the one we were doing.
Okay, so that would be WASI HD. Sorry, I'm like,
I'll try to find it.
yeah. If you've got, I'm gonna race you. Let's see. Oh, what? WASI HTTP does not have any associated packages. That's a bug.
It's at the higher level.
Yeah, but it doesn't do the associate label thing, you know?
GitHub. Yes, it should. And if we go to
okay, I think I have a link here.
Where did?
Ooh, it worked. It did a thing. What the hell? Okay. This is really fun. So it generated this file, WebAssembly _WASI _sockets.wasm, when I input this command. So I point it at OCI, at a OCI URL, and then it pulls it as a .wasm file.
Okay.
So the fact that it is OCI
it's stripped away. It's stripped away all the
completely.
OCI stuff.
Yes. So I imagine if I say push, it will do the exact same thing, where it will just, you can push .wasm directly, and OCI is like just an intermediate layer that we never need to know about.
That would be nice.
That is pretty fun.
Can we look at the source code for push? Because that's exactly what we would be doing. So like, is it creating the image index? Is it hashing the component
for sure.
name?
So we have WASM package common, WASM package loader, and then mod OCI. So let's take a look in OCI. There's auth things here. That makes sense. What do we have in the outline? There's auth, there's common, there's OCI push commands. Yeah. So two subcommands.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then push args here. And then there's impl run for push args. So this looks like the main thing. We construct a client.
Okay, so WASM from component.
Uh-huh.
What does that return? Context.
Oh, sorry. What line are you looking?
Oh, it's 127. WASM config from component. I assume that's what's generating the OCI stuff.
Yep, it looks like it. Then we say, okay, we convert that to a component. We use whatever auth we've set up, and then we use the OCI client, which is the wire protocol compatible thing, to...
Oh, there's layer config. So those values are probably... So where's that coming from? That's coming from...
Layer config? Where are you seeing it?
Oh, so line 127.
Yeah.
if I'm reading the Rust code correctly, it calls the Wasm config from component, gives it the
Mhm.
file of the component, the author, that then is returning layer and config into like that's defining them. So then down on line 132,
Yes.
you're passing in default reference pointer for auth, the actual layer, whatever data type that is,
Yeah.
config. So is that those are probably just Go terms would be a struct. Like, is that a type that's being passed in, or like what's the
Mhm.
data type for layer
That
in
is indeed
config?
a struct.
Okay, and so then that
Struct
has
image
all
layer.
the there's the media type that we need, the annotations, the data.
Mhm.
I wonder. So there's
Ooh.
probably in that WASM config all the logic that does the hashing, because the file name should be hashed, so that'll have to be in there, and then probably produce the image index somehow.
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool. Yep.
And I think they're using the OCI distribution crate here. That does a lot of the heavy lifting.
Oh,
And then
okay.
the OCI WASM crate is another one that does a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
And
That makes sense that exists.
there's another crate called Docker Credential that does probably the auth things to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Okay.
makes this very
Wow.
small. Yeah.
I wonder if there's. Okay. I wonder if there would be any value,
Mhm.
because so this is how do you install this particular tool? Is this a Rust specific
It is
thingy?
written in Rust,
Yeah.
but my understanding is okay. So I was explaining this while you're gone. Um, the the end goal, the goal that we should have for WASM component tooling is to natively integrate that into people's tool chains. So if you're a C# developer, you would only deal with whatever your C# compilation like tools are, and like those should gain support for components.
Got
For
it.
Rust, that would be Cargo, and so Cargo component is sort of like previewing, like, okay, how do we get this to like all work, with the goal of eventually like upstreaming that. And so pushing and pulling components to component registries um, needs to become part of Cargo component.
The actual build tools. Okay.
Yeah. And so, like Cargo component build or something should give you like the ID, like the correct WASM file. And the moment you like send that over, or WASM binary, and the moment you upload that, it should like include all of the metadata that it has sort of like turnkey already. Um,
Okay, I see that. That makes sense as a workflow. So then each language that wants to adopt WebAssembly components needs to have that in their build tools. So that way you don't have another
yeah,
variant of the Docker CLI to do pushes, or the ORAS tool, or whatever
correct,
else to manage the OCR artifacts themselves. Okay. Okay.
correct. It plays really nicely into the idea of cloud native binaries, right? Where what we're doing is we're just saying like, okay, here's your existing workflow for creating binaries. Cool. Your binary target is, instead of ELF, it's now WASI. It's WASM components. And then the way you upload it, oh yeah, well, here's a compatible place you can like send it to. Um, Whereas with Docker, it feels like very like you're not just building a binary, but you're pulling in an entire operating system around it and tooling to manage that additional
Ooh.
thing.
I love bringing it all the way down to the language tooling, though, because then
Yes.
you're even more just, you get to stick with that development experience, a
Yes.
development environment. Okay,
Yes.
that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. Like the truly like taking again the separation of like operators and developers. It's for operators we want, or like the goal needs to be to like make it easy to manage, have all these good properties, make it easy to integrate into existing like tools, etc. For developers, integrate into the existing like language tool chains. That's how you
So that makes perfect
idealize
sense
that.
from the development's perspective. But let's
Yeah.
say you're on a Kubernetes cluster, or your whatever service is going to consume that component. Do they have
Yes.
to install that language's build tools? So
No.
yeah, how do they pull from the OCR artifact registry?
So it's a standardized like binary format, right? So as a developer, you would never know that it's stored as OCI, right? All you need to know is like, oh, I'm storing it on a registry and I need to authenticate with it. But beyond that, it's like, oh, I push.wasm, I get.wasm. Sure, that's .wasm. But as a Kubernetes like operator, what you are aware that, hey, that is OCI. I will use whatever tooling I have to natively run OCI things, right? That's WebAssembly stored as OCI. I manage the registry. I manage the orchestration. I manage the versioning. All of these things that's on the operator side. So there you do care about like the packaging format.
Okay, so you'll need a different tool. So from a developer perspective, you should be able to push packages and pull packages from
Mhm.
your build tools. But on
Yes.
the operator side, you're going to have to use a different, unless you want to install all the build environment stuff, which you wouldn't want to do on like a Kubernetes host, so to speak.
Yeah, but
You would
you
need,
don't have to.
right.
Is more the thing. Like you if you really wanted to, right? You're like on Linux. And you're like, okay, I want to run this thing. What's the workflow? Just install ORAS. Like, why not? Like ORAS it, extract it. Hey, at some point you reconfigure it to the right like layer. I think it should be able to like reconfigure it to the right layers. Um,
Well, there'd have to be some kind of, I guess the runtime more so would have to be aware of the OCI format. Because ideally, the operator really wouldn't. From a Kubernetes, like say you're deploying it to
yeah,
some kind of Kubernetes cluster, you're
yeah,
just going to have, like under containers, I don't know how it will look in the manifest, but you'll have some kind of thing there. Like say it's in containers and you just take a WASM component. Underneath, Kubernetes is going to have to figure out like, oh, I need to take, from blob on hash, put it as a component and put it somewhere. I don't need all these JSON files.
yeah.
So there's work to do there to figure out how that would work.
Oh yeah. Yeah, actually let me backtrack slightly where it's I actually do not exactly know how modern deployment workflows like interact with OCI formats.
Mhm.
In my mind, it was like, well, if you know it's .wasm wrapped in OCI, then you just pull the thing and then you get a .wasm, and if you know how to run that, you're good. Um, but what you're saying makes sense. Um, I believe SpinCube, has support for pulling and pushing, or not pushing, sorry, pulling WASM wrapped as OCI.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, so it'd all be up on the runtime environments, because that's the same thing true with Docker. Is it figures out, it has specific formats that it supports, and then it figures out how to tear it apart and grab the layers and combine them and run them with the configuration. So that makes sense that it
okay.
would be there. And because hopefully we don't go back to the days where it's essentially like a zip file or an archive that the sysadmin's pulling down the machine and moving around
Right.
files. That won't be the case. That whatever is orchestrating it and deploying it will have that logic. So they'll just have to
Exactly.
support, even though they support OCI, they'll have to do a little bit of massaging to figure out how to extract out the component from the OCI stuff. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Oh, actually, someone should PR ORAS probably to just add it to there. Because we have a Whackage right here, and this will be published at some point, which is a vendor neutral tool that you just
Mhm.
point at the OCI registry and you get a .wasm out of it. But if people already are using, say, ORAS, just adding support for that massaging there could enable a bunch of people.
That is an excellent point.
Let's go, right?
Yeah, next stream, let's do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Go, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm fairly familiar with the ORAS tool as well. Decently
Nice.
familiar.
Okay, that's pretty fun.
I'd use it for a lot of notation stuff.
Mm,
Because if you were to use ORAS or the Docker pull, it pulls it down in the format that Docker can use to run the container. It doesn't just give you the OCI format layers or a layout. It doesn't extract it into the configs. It's wrapped up and bundled as a container image. And so if
mm,
we could essentially add support to ORAS for pulling components where it, like, yeah, it was there and now it's here, but you don't, like, I'm just going to take away all the fluff for you. that we
Yeah.
had to shove in there to get it to fit
Yeah.
in the registry. That's definitely worth doing, because that's going to be the tool that most people start with. And then I would imagine the ORAS has a library that people could just like what you're seeing here, it could just import that logic and simplify it for every deployment tool if they're going to use the ORAS libraries.
Yeah. I probably the way this might like pan out is whackage. I mean, you can install whackage as a CLI, but you know, if people use ORAS, they'll like to keep using ORAS most likely. But whackage as a library will likely be more toolchain oriented. So for developers, and perhaps ORAS as a binary end library can be slightly more, you know, oriented towards existing operators.
Interesting.
I like that though, because like Go seems to go. So Go has support for Preview 1, WASI 01. And I think they're actively like TinyGo has WASI 02 support, but I think they're actively looking at like WASI 02 support for like BigGo as well.
Last I heard, yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, having if ORAS supported it natively, like potentially that's a great integration point for them where they're like, oh, I don't know if I want a Rust dependency for the Go like toolchain. But if it's a Go dependency for a Go toolchain, maybe they'll like that.
Maybe.
So I don't know. There's options. Sorry, I'm kind of like I'm spinning off. I'm like, oh, think of the implication. I don't know.
No, I think that's what makes. I don't know. Those are the good conversations. That's worth doing.
Yeah. All right, next stream, you teach me Go, and we like contribute the thing.
I think that would be really fun. I'm, you know, up to debate. I'd love to hear from chat if the more coding on things we haven't built yet would be of interest. I'm interested for sure. Because I enjoy the pair programming. You know, what kind of spun off this idea was the code with me that Steve hosts, which is always fun. So I love that idea. That would be an interesting tangent to go down.
Ooh, I've got an idea.
Sure.
It's a goofy one. We could add support for descriptions to this PR right here, or SPDX licenses. I don't know. Description. Let's do description.
Description's easier. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, this is an active PR by someone else, but presumably it won't like change too much. But we could round trip. So we could round trip this existing sockets thing and just like add support for description. I don't know. Is that fun? Is that something we want to do, or do we want to like keep deploying our own OCI things?
I'm fine with either. The only thing that I was going to go back to, I had to uninstall and reinstall VS Code for some reason. But now I'm happy, or the system's happy. So I wanted to figure out the only thing left that I want to do is figure out how to manually upload a component. But I don't know. I feel like it might not be worth too much because we understand how it's constructed, and there's some good tooling in Rust that does that. So it might not be super valuable to do, because now I at least understand what's all going on. So
yeah, I think it'll be interesting, but like once you understand the lower level format, like indeed
that's the main benefit. Yeah.
Like we can show off that yes, we know how to SHA-256 and like put the reference in a JSON, but it's also kind of like, you know.
But you shouldn't have to. It's good to know when you're trying to figure it out. But like these tools exist now that we don't really need to do that by hand.
Yes.
So
yes. Okay, what happens if I try and like just push this to my thing? Oh, push. Oh, I've got a very annoying thing like on my local machine where if I try and like backspace in my terminal, it doesn't do it because it doesn't know the terminal I'm using. And so like just my actual like shell is broken in like a slightly annoying way.
That would be very annoying to me.
Yes. It is annoying, but it's like not annoying enough that I don't want to fix it.
Spend a half day fixing it. Yeah.
Probably like half an hour, but it's like, I'm like, no, I just don't feel like it. Ooh, okay. Unrecognized command push. Whackage push. Oh, it's whackage OCI push, isn't it? Whackage -- So what we're doing here is we're saying cargo run, which points at this binary, and then cargo run dash dash bin whackage to point at this binary, and then any arguments must be separated with a dash dash in between. So that's why I'm typing OCI push dash dash help as the command here now, because otherwise that's how we give it arguments.
So you want to add a flag for description? That's not the goal?
Yes.
Okay.
So the way we do whackage OCI push, reference, and then file. The OCI reference to push, the path to the file to push. So I assume the URL is what they mean by reference, right?
I would think so.
Okay. So let's get an authentication error here. Package dash dash OCI push, and then ghcr.io / my username 0.2.0, and then we're gonna WebAssembly WASI sockets.wasm. So that's to OCI under my thing, and then my cat found an air tag on the floor, and it's very fun apparently.
Well, at least you know where they go.
Yeah. No, it's actually it's like not activated yet.
Oh, okay.
I got a fresh box of them. So if she loses it, I will actually not know where it went. It's a little wrapper around, it makes it slide around the floor like more easily. So it's very fun.
Unauthorized.
Unauthorized. Yeah. Okay. So we need to give it credentials. But I don't want to show my credentials on screen. So I'm going to try and do this on a separate terminal. I'm going to copy and paste the command. And I think it's -u. Or actually, what I'm going to do is we're going to do this. And then we're going to say -u. That's my username. And -p. The wrong thing. And now we should get an authentication error. Unauthorized still. Yes. Okay. Is this interesting?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I'm still trying. Yeah, I'm following along.
Okay. If at any point I need to clarify anything, please stop me, and I will. Okay, we're gonna copy and paste this command. You know what I'd really love to do. I'd love it if I could point the -p argument to 1Password somehow, because I store my credentials or I have a bunch of credentials in there, and then be like, take the secret from the vault, but never show it in clear text. And I don't know how to do that.
Probably can't if it has a CLI. I used to do that all the time with Ansible.
Oh, nice.
But I don't know off the top of my head. I want to switch to 1Password. I've been using Bitwarden for a little while, but I hear good things about 1Pass.
Yeah. I used to use the pass1 command for my terminal, and then I lost my laptop and I lost all my passwords, and that was a bad idea. So I was like, I want to use something that's backed up somewhere.
What I just did for I'm on my Windows, but I got this BioKey.
Uh-huh.
So I configured that to be able to do my password. So I wonder if I could hook this into. I know for certain that it can connect to 1Pass or 1Password. So you, in theory, could use a biometric key for all that.
Ooh.
So you just prompt you, and you could just beep. So my sudo password, I have that, like my privilege escalation in Ubuntu. I just tap that whenever I want root permissions. It's a very nice.
It worked. Hold on. I'm going to screen share. Yes. Okay. I got it to work. Stop screen. Present screen. Share screen. Select window or screen. Get up desktop. Your pack. I think this is it. Okay. We're going to share screen. Yes. Okay, great. Great. So here is having pushed WASI sockets using the code we just saw. Oh wait, you haven't clicked the. Can you click the thingy?
Oh, did it change again?
Yeah. Sorry, I changed Windows.
My bad.
Yeah. Okay. So this is my GitHub, and then here WASI sockets that we just fetched from the other thing, but pushed it to like under my own, and now we have it. And we did this using the whackage push command. And it works. And so now what we'll see here is it says no description provided. And
We should
then,
totally make labels added to this so we can add description and label it so it'll link it to a code repository.
yes. So here is what's the label to link it? Is that source?
It is, yes. Yep.
Hell
Source.
yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely. So with the eye on like developers, right? And like language native tooling in Rust, in the Cargo Toml manifest, there is a I was going hard and then I lost the name of the thing, but it is called they don't have it. The repository. Sorry, it's called the keys repository, package.repository, and that tends to have a URL to your actual repo. And so we could automatically, once this is integrated in Rust, just get this key and have it point at that because that should always be the same.
So then you could actually just have you could pass in because it'll detect automatically your username URL, but you could say what repository, so you could append / whatever repo to it, and that could be a command line flag. So what repo are you pushing to?
Mm-hmm. So here in the whackage, like it needs to be generic. We don't do any auto detection, auto passing. So we just need to have a way to give it a URL. I was like, here's the URL. But in the native Rust integration in Cargo component, it should just like read that key from the thing automatically and include that.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. What if we added all three?
Oh, so it just clicked for me. So if your project is Rust based and it's in a repository, it's going to know what the repository URL is because that's set up with the configuration. So it could take that and just automatically label the packages for the push command. So there's no argument necessary and there's no confusion because you know what you're compiling, what repository you're compiling from.
Correct.
Okay. Sorry, that just clicked.
Yeah. Yes. And I think that is the magic of why going for like language native toolchain integration is the best possible experience for like developers. Because then you're just like, oh, I already have my information. What if I compiled it to Wasm components? And then because the tooling knows what you're doing, it just does everything correct. And people will never have to like debug like, where did my package go?
You renamed the repository and now you're publishing under the old name and blah, blah, yeah, all that stuff.
Exactly. Yes.
Excellent.
By the way, there's like more. Have you ever like looked at the annotations here?
Briefly.
Okay.
There's a lot you can do with it, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know of any other like fun ones? Ones where you're like, oh, those would be cool?
No, I haven't used any of them. Well, the ones that would probably be useful for secure supply chain would be if you can specify like the SPDX, like if you were the licenses and vendors, and maybe there's even an annotation for SBOMs and stuff like that. But I don't know if it's listed in here yet.
SBOM?
Because that's SBOM.
No SBOM.
No SBOM. Like scans, they put in annotations, all that kind of stuff.
Scans
or scan maybe.
Scan.
No
scan.
None of those things yet. But this is the place where they're putting that type of information.
Perfect. I absolutely love that. And is there a version also here? Oh, I love this too. Version, source, URL. What does you? Okay. Yeah. Oh, build date. Nice. Yeah, when it's built, it should tag that. Does it? Would it already?
Not yet, because it looks like the tooling just kind of puts it in there. It doesn't add any other metadata to the package. But yeah, this could all be auto filled from the information within inside the code repository.
Yeah. Okay. 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 I will change the screen share. So I have an open terminal where I can push things and I can keep pushing things probably. So we can build the
Let's
thing,
try to
add the
see if we can add a
annotations, and see
flag
what
to
happens.
the description to start, right?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. All right, stop screen, and then I will reshare my VS Code instance, and then you'll have to click accept again.
All right,
This is not.
next stream, I'm going to have to show you my NeoVim config.
Oh yeah, please do.
Finally made the full switch. It's starting to click. My tmux set up and all that, good colors. I think you'll be impressed.
Yes, I do like a good tmux. Do you have what's it called? Rust analyzer. What was this called again?
For the LSP?
Yeah, LSP. Yes.
Yeah, yes I do.
Yep. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, that's amazing.
I have Go and Rust. Those are the only two languages that I allowed in my NeoVim config for now.
Oh, I love that. Like, I remember when I was using NeoVim. At some point, I switched to I switched off Linux to Windows because I was like, I would like to use Rust Analyzer. Could not get VS Code to work on Arch. I was like, I don't know how to. I'm going to Windows. Hey, it worked. I installed Rust Analyzer. I was like, great. I got VS Code. I got my RA. Happy. So I never got to like working Rust Analyzer on NeoVim. I was messing around with C tags and I was like, I need something better. So I'm actually very keen to like see it because I wanted to have that 5 years ago. I didn't get it. So but you do.
It's there now. It's there now.
Yes. I like that. Okay. So here's the auth flag. Yes, great. We have auth back. And then we have push. We care about push args. Then there is author. Ooh, optional author to set for the pushed component. That's fun. Oh, there's common. Common includes insecure. Okay, I don't know why there's common. Let's go back one. There's author. So do we set author anywhere? Push args run. Presumably, right? There would be, we saw in our earlier.
So you could use -A at the command line to add the author. Is that 113 saying? Those are your switches?
113?
I think it's.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, but are we using that anywhere? Oh yeah, Wasm config from component.
Yep.
And then you can give it an author. And then here it says author, and where does it store it? From raw component, author, self, author. What is it with author here? I'm curious now, like, does it stick it inside of the annotations? I don't know if it does. Actually, don't know. Okay.
Well, just go look at your repository and pull up it has your manifest displayed, the JSON that actually consists of your manifest. So it would tell you if it's in there.
Could you wait? Hold on. What do you mean?
So the repository that you uploaded this component to.
Oh,
if you pull up that web page, if you scroll to the bottom, it'll show you the JSON representation of the manifest.
Oh,
and so if the author was used, you'd be able to tell there. I don't know. You didn't pass in the -A, so I don't know what the default value is.
Probably nothing. But if we did do that, what if we did do that? Okay. So it's -A. So in this case, it would be -A like this or something, right? And this will give us an auth error on this side.
Yep.
Great. Okay. Let me try that here in my other like little terminal, but I'm basically repeating the thing, but with my actual like password. Okay. And then we can go to our thingy here. WASI02 does not exist. And then here, and then now there should be an author field. There is no author field. Oh, that's funny.
Is it in the component config?
it is not in the manifest. How do I know if it's in the component config? Can I know that?
You'd have to pull it down with
Unpackage it, right?
ORAS. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just see in the one that I did pull down if such a thing exists. No.
Fascinating. Oh, there is a. Go ahead.
I don't see any author in any of the configs.
Okay. But what we care about specifically is also the what do you say? The author attribute. The author annotation.
Yeah, you
Yes.
could add that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're doing annotations anyway, then we can just reuse that. Okay, we said description first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that could be a bug fix right there. Is you're passing in the author. Why not add an annotation for the author as well on that actual artifact?
So an optional description to set for the pushed component. Let's just do a long description. This is an optional string that people can pass. And then now where do we get this? This is push args. This is run. Oh yeah, so we get a reference to self. Oh, hey, that's a cat. Oh my gosh. Okay. I've never actually been able to do this.
Oh, cat cam time. I wish I had some like OBS sounds that I could,
Yes. Hold on. Cat cam.
Like a great reveal.
There she is. Yeah. She's
so
decided.
Fluffy.
Yeah, she is so fluffy. I think she just groomed. She's got the little, she went to the doctor earlier this week and she had to have her like paws shaved. Well, she doesn't want me to touch paws. But yeah, there she is. Okay, I'll switch back. Or I can leave it. I'll switch back.
Staring right at the camera too. That's hysterical.
Yes.
I am displeased to be on camera.
Yeah, she's like, cut that out, Dad. You're working. I'm not. Just came here to nap. All right. So this is our push args. And then what we have is our Wasm config, I think. And this has annotations. Is that right?
Sounds right.
Annotated Wasm config. Oh. From raw component. Oh boy, howdy. Okay. Self auth into auth and then push. No, this is just the bare Wasm config. How do we get to an... Oh, okay. So we call Wasm config with annotations, and that is a hash map. So we construct a new hash map.
Okay. With key values.
Yes.
Okay.
So let annotations equals hash map new, like there. And then we say conf, or let conf equals conf dot with annotations. And then this we need to import from there. And let's see what the compile error is.
Okay, and that'll just be a blank one because then we have to actually add in the annotations to the hash map.
Oh, it likes it. Check it out. Yeah. So I was worried for a second that because conf here is not what? Push? What's the signature here? Oh, it takes the impl2 config, which is a trait that will probably take both config and annotated config. I assumed it was a custom thing and they wouldn't have like abstracted over it, but they did. And that means that this just works. And that indeed means that we just get to like stick keys in here.
Excellent.
Great. Okay. So now we can do if self dot description or if let sum description equals self dot description. So this will do a match to see if the pattern is we have a description, then we can access the description within here and we can set it. So annotations dot dot set or insert, and our key is so what is the type of annotation? String. Okay, so our key is it's a different one. Description dot to string, and then here is description. Oh, and we can probably do dot take here. Then this should compile. Cannot borrow self description as mutable. Okay, so we need to make this mutable here, I think. And now this works. And then we want to actually use the correct key, which is long, but it's that. And then this will work, I think.
Okay, let's find out.
Okay. I want to do a quick refactor.
Can't help yourself.
Yeah, I cannot. I literally cannot. Where I'm like, I don't like it when like the formatting flips like that. Then we say key description. That's nicer. Yeah. Is that a key?
Who likes to scroll horizontally? No one.
No, exactly. a little variable to tidy it up. Okay, so we have added ourselves a dash description flag, right? And then here we can now do a or containers image description. So ostensibly description, the WASI, what is this? Sockets specification or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then this will give us a what we're testing here is that the component runs without crashing, I guess. And it does. Okay. And then I will run that in parallel on the little actual authenticated terminal, which again, I feel very weird having my password in plain text, just hanging out there. But, you know.
I wonder what the other options are to authenticate. Because you it should be able to grab, like say you have the GH CLI and you've authenticated that way, it should be able to use the token from that CLI with inside this.
I'd like to figure that out, but the nature of it is figuring out my password on stream. I don't want to do it, but if
no, just like conceptually, I think that, that this tooling should support like the Azure CLI. If you're pushing to the Azure Container Registry, you can actually just piggyback off your Docker login credentials. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you should set that up now. I'm just if the tool supports it.
That makes sense. Oh, I did my quotes wrong. Okay. It is pushing. Unexpected argument --d found. Oh, because it isn't --d, it's description. Sorry, this is all like still off stream. I'll try and see if I can like fix that for 1Password, because I also like doing the 1Password CLI thing, where if I can just be like 1Password get this exact like token, and then it can like prompt me and I could.
Oh, there's got to be a way to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Even better if it could like be a nvarg or something like that, where like if it tries and read it, but I don't know if that's like. Okay. I did the thing. And then gonna see if the thing worked the thing. No description provided. It's very unhappy. Yeah, it didn't work. Sorry, a little anticlimactic because I'm not showing the actual screen, but no, it does not seem to have worked. And that is because, why is this?
Did you get an error uploading, or it's just not showing up in the portal?
It's not showing up in the portal.
Okay.
So if I'm looking at the digest, it doesn't actually appear to like show. And that could be potentially because the client doesn't know how to encode it.
Well, it had the two configurations. Does it have to merge the config with the annotations to like send that as a payload, or like in push right there, that config right there does not have the annotations added to it?
This one does.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah, we're shadowing the variable, which is legal in Rust.
Okay. So how is with annotation? I see what you're doing. Line 142. That's where you're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So we are correctly passing it. Let's take a look in push.
Well, I guess you could debug or you could print out what that config looks like just to see with the data structure.
Yep. I like your thinking. Correct. So fun little autocomplete here. You can do .dbg, save it, and it will like wrap it into debug macro.
Just a side note, your Rust skills are inspiring me to write a lot more code. Your proficiency in this language is impressive.
Appreciate that. Oh my gosh, it does not implement debug. Oh yeah. So annotations does not implement debug. Let's take a peek. How can we fix this? So we have annotations here. This should be fine. With annotations, annotated Wasm config does not implement that. Go to annotated Wasm config. That is because this does not derive debug. I don't know if this will work, but we're going to be cheeky. And this does derive debug. This does not derive debug. Let's try it again. We just added it. Maybe it'll like recompile, but it might not pick it up.
2-to-1 error is not implemented.
Yep.
Is there no way to just you just like print whatever the data structure is to the standard out? There's no way to do that?
It requires doing a bit of code gen, which in turn requires implementing the debug trait.
Gotcha.
In Rust, it is, or I consider it to be a good practice on every single project that you write to add a pragma at the top that says require every struct and enum to implement debug. It's a little bit of manual work, but it'll just help you.
So without that, it doesn't have access into the memory of whatever that is. So like that's why it doesn't have ownership of whatever the data is. So then it can't like print whatever print mechanism to standard out can't actually access it without the debug. Is that
correct?
Okay.
So in Golang, I believe the Go runtime supports reflection, which is natively supported by every like type it has. It knows how to like do the introspection on the types. In Rust, the way debug works is it is just a method that you call, and if that method doesn't exist, well, then you're out of luck. That was never generated. It's not part of your structure. Therefore, it won't compile.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. All these things I didn't have to worry about in my nice interpreted languages.
Yes. It's nice. It's like it's a systems programming language. You don't want debug output because you care about code size. Yeah, you won't get it. And it's like, yeah, but now you get to deal with the consequences. Enough. Yeah. But it is a little bit annoying for us, but we can file it as a bug. But supposedly, we have filled out the hash map, so we can debug the hash map right here. Right here, and then
without the debug implemented, is it also inaccessible to something like the debugger in VS Code? Like, could you walk through this and see what's being populated in there, or without that, that's not even accessible through the debugger?
Oh, actually,
like say you put a breakpoint in like right before, could it see what that data structure looks like?
No, you raise a great point. Let's give that a shot. It might just be able to do it because the debugger, it's a structure. Yeah, potentially.
Okay.
Where's our Oh. I don't know how to run the debugger with arguments.
Oh, are you?
So we have our function main here somewhere, I think. Yeah. So we're going to call the main function, but give it these arguments.
So if you go to your debug panel in VS Code, you should be able to generate a separate config, and then you can specify the arguments in JSON. So I think it's like right above your terminal, a little bug with the shell in the top right. Or you
Right
could
above
go
my
to your,
terminal
yeah,
here.
that's not it.
Here on the left-hand side, I think this is what you mean, right? Create a launch.json file, I assume.
Yeah, sorry, your menu is on the left. So yeah, if you do that, you should be able to.
Let's do LDB. Sure. Cargo toml, would you like to generate launch? Yes, please.
So in args, you
Launch.
could specify there.
Here. Do they need to be separate args?
Yeah, let me find what the doc says on how to format those. I actually made a video on this with debugging Go, so maybe I can just take a screenshot of that.
Okay, if I just do this, and then how do I run the launch again?
I think just F5, or you can hit the run, like the little play button there on the top left.
What did we call this? Configurations, debug unit test and library Wasm package common. No, that's not what we want actually. Okay, which one do we want? Debug executable whackage. Yes, that is the one we want.
So yeah, it looks like this.
Debug unit test, executable whackage, args, build bin, whackage. Oh, so we want run bin equals whackage. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just sent you a screenshot of how I did it for Go. I would imagine the arguments are defined the same. Yeah, just like that. It looks like that's
okay. Now I wonder if OCI push will be accepted. Unrecognized subcommand. Okay, so if I just do this, does it like that? Help print. Okay, it does like that. So then we say,
oh yeah, another argument. Yeah, each argument is its own string.
yeah. Do you know why that is?
I don't know. No.
Okay.
Probably how it's reconstructed. But
that makes sense. Okay, something didn't work the way we wanted it to. Cargo invocation failed. Oh, that's probably because we need to do that for this to work. OCI push dash dash help. Invalid value dash dash help for reference. Invalid reference format.
oh, because you have the dash dash. So you help would probably have to be before that second dash dash.
Oh, it might not like dash dash at all, potentially. Cargo invocation failed. Why did it fail? Okay, well, we can skip the help command potentially. And we can just say, what did we say? We gave it a path. And then we should just copy it over here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. And then correctly format that. And then we say the second part of this. By the way, is this interesting or are you like,
No, I'm interested. This is fun for me.
Okay. Then yeah, let's just try this and see if it still fails. Unauthorized. Great. Perfect. Love that. Good. That means we are pointing at the thing.
Can you, yeah, if you set a breakpoint now, it should catch that, right?
Exact. Well,
it won't get past the auth. You'd have to like comment out the auth section to get into this debugging.
What at? No, it should be. Wait.
Because auth is probably in the code path before your
No, I think
pushes.
the auth part is probably fine, but the client part is the pushing
Client,
part.
sorry. Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So line 143 should work. Right? Okay, let's hit the debug. Recompiling. Running. Ooh, unhappy. Yeah, it's not hitting that breakpoint.
What if you put it on line 142?
Okay. Let's, for good measure, 141 too. Debug executable whackage. So we are executing something. Yep. No, it's just blasting past the breakpoints for some reason.
What if you put it?
No, 100% it's executing this. Right? We're getting error unable to push image, which is line 148.
Are you? So where are you running the debug? So if you just hit the play at the top left.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's what you're doing. I can't. It's weird. Your mouse is like is not where it appears to be on my screen.
Oh, is
Because
it?
right now your
Oh.
mouse is.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I don't know why.
Because it looks like you're clicking the GitHub icon, but you're actually hitting the play icon. So I was
Yeah.
confused.
It's like it's half a screen like over to the left. So I'm right now I'm clicking the play button.
That's fine. I can see it drop the drop down start, but your mouse appears over the Git thing. Anyway,
Ooh.
so if you just put it like randomly sooner in the stack, like or in the code path,
It won't matter.
Enter? It won't matter.
No. Like we're seeing we're hitting line 148. That means line 141 under every circumstance should be hit.
Okay.
And it isn't.
Interesting. Well, that's probably the end of the road there because you don't want to put your password in the config file.
Exactly. I mean, even if we like did get to authentication, is we're like trying to hit a breakpoint before we go to authentication to see what we've generated. I think what would be good for debugging here, and by the way, okay. Here's my pitch. There should be package command for this, where we dump the OCI binary to disk.
Yes, that would be helpful.
Yes.
Like, what does it look like before it goes up there?
Exactly.
Kind of like a -- load or a local.
Correct. Okay. How are we on time?
We're at 90 minutes. 90 minutes in.
Yeah. But I guess I was more checking with you. Like, how are you doing? Do you want to go a bit longer?
I could go a little bit longer. Yeah.
Okay. Here's my.
Or if this is a good stopping point, we could do that too. Up to you.
I'm down to like go for maybe like another half hour and implement a little I don't know, a package command or something to dump it to disk. So we just have the OCI locally and we separate that from the pushing and the pulling.
Okay. I like that.
But I do have to run to a restroom. So I was like, if we're winding down the stream, I would wind down the stream, say my merry goodbye, never mention I have to go, and then like go after. But otherwise, I gotta go right now, and I'll be back, and then we like finish this up. How's that sound?
That sounds fine.
Okay, lovely. I'll be right back.
Let's play some music. Welcome back.
Hello. Okay, so I got intercepted by a cat on the way over, which means I now have 2 cats. I have 2 cats on my desk. Cat 1 here, and then I can dramatically like shift back the cat cam to the. I should rename this USB device the cat cam. Cat 2 on my desk. Cat 1
You've been
on my
ambushed.
lap. And it's so much. They're so snuggly today. Put a little blanket over top, and then we pretend she's here. Or not here. Anyway, yes. Hi. Okay. Shall we dive in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. How do you want to do this?
Well, you probably need a new subcommand,
Mhm.
like on the same level as push. That's just
Yeah.
maybe like output.
Yes. Hold on. I'm being required to give pats with one hand, so I'm like just trying to get settled in here. Output. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Let's call it output. Output args.run. Sure. And then we have a thing called dump an OCI artifact to disk. Output args, I think we should call it. And then let's, I don't know, say something like this here. Oh, that's neatly defined. Oh, no, it's not neatly defined. It's defined like this. Output args, like that. I think that should compile. Oh, no, we need a run method. And I think we can just do it like that. Like that. And then this won't compile because there's a thingy missing here. But now we can fill this out, right? How's this look?
Looks good. So that's just depending. Is there a particular packages you know? And Go, there's a really popular one. Cobra for CLI framework. Is that using any kind of library for the CLI?
Yeah, we're using the clap package.
Okay, I remember that.
Okay, we called this output, right? Let's test it real quick on the CLI. Not yet implemented. Good. Yeah, so what clap allows you to do is clap stands for command line argument parser, and has a derive feature that you need to enable. But then you stick a thing called args on your derive and says like, okay, now we can interpret the fields here. We can almost like serialize them from the command line flag format to an actual Rust structure using a method. And then you say, okay, here we're gonna like set a little bit of metadata on it. And then depending on whether it's optional or not, or Boolean or not, you can give it default things. You can even like give it like end var fallbacks. You start from your data where you say like, here's the shape of my data, and then you like describe it with the right things to like get to the actual like command line parser. It's quite pleasant.
It simplifies a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used Cobra and Go, and then I've just used the flags package that they have, where you just add your switches and flags there, and then you parse whatever's coming in.
Is it also declarative, where you start with a struct, or does it work the other way around?
For the command line, how does that work? Well, with flags, you're just defining what your command is and what your options are going to be, just with strings or whatever type of it. So I guess the arguments are typed, but the whole thing isn't declared in a struct.
Okay. There's no right or wrong way. Like most packages, or like most credits, or most projects I've seen, most parsers in languages do it like they are typed, but they do it the other way around. I think, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm going like, oh, semantics of this stuff. I used to like be on the Rust CLI working groups. I'm like, you're hitting like a special like interest that I had for a while, where I was like, the complete, yeah. Anyway, let me stop talking there. Let me start writing more stuff. Okay, what's next? We have our run command. We can now execute some code once we
Essentially,
target
all we
test or
want to do
something.
is output the config at this point, right? Like, just how would
Yes.
we write that to a file on disk, whatever format, maybe JSON or what have you. I probably stick with JSON. It's like,
Okay.
how can we go terms would be Marshall, like unmarshal it in. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So we had the GitHub dump, right?
yeah. Just how do we put that? I would mainly be worried about what's the config look like for the first iteration of output. So it's like, what does the OCI output look like? So if you could take somehow the config that's returned from push.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, here's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Okay, maybe we're thinking slightly different things. I think you're thinking more in the direction of debug,
Mm,
right?
okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this cat. This cat is very wobbly. Um,
What were you thinking for the output? What would output look like for you in this?
I was not even thinking about output per se. I was thinking, what is the non like push and pull? They are commands that do packaging and uploading at
Mhm.
the same time. Or sorry, push specifically does that. It says I will package a thing and I will upload a thing. What if you break like those two stages into separate subcommands? So you can have the logic that is just packaging separated from the actual also pushing. For convenience, most people will want to do the all in one of
Right.
most of the time. But like for cases like ours, where you want to do something custom with the OCI image before you fully upload it, we could do that. And then we package it through OCI, and then we have an OCI image like on disk for ourselves that we can then inspect using, I don't know, ORAS, for example, unbundle it, and actually look at the generate manifest locally.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
I think we're on the same path. I'm just it would be like the first iteration, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, we're on the same page where we would be decoupling those two steps inside that one command. That makes sense to me.
Because the reason why I'm thinking in this direction is because it allows us to not have to encode and then parse within Whackage, but it would allow us to just encode, like reuse the existing encoding logic, hopefully, and then we can use ORAS to decode.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Preference?
Might not need to. I'm curious. I really am curious what that what the excuse me, package logic is, because right now it's just kind of hidden behind that variable config, you know.
Yes.
So how is that translating to what we know about the OCI layout right now, where there's the image index, the manifests, and then all the hashing and so forth?
Okay. So I'm willing to follow your lead here, but you should like guide me through like what we're gonna do. So what you have in mind, we'll just implement, and
Okay.
I can help with the. Sorry, I
The
woke a
rest
cat.
semantics.
Yes, exactly.
Uh, so yeah, the very first thing that would be, I think we're on the same page. Where let's take the package logic from push and put
Uh-huh.
it into the separate subcommand.
Okay.
Whether outputs the name or package is a better name for the command, we can decide later. But that's essentially what we need, is some way to figure out what that artifact looks like locally. And so all the logic for the package step would be there. So essentially, like from 140 to 156 ish
Mhm.
is the package logic.
Yes.
So we could borrow that and then just figure out
Yes.
how to output it somehow, like write it to disk, whatever that would look
Yes.
like.
Yes. So get client. Okay. So one. Okay. Wasm config comes from the OCI Wasm crate. Let's take a look at that. This has from component, from raw component, from module, from raw module with annotations, and then try from string. It does not have a encode. Actually, I can't screen share. Damn. Okay. What we want to know is, okay, so we have a concrete Wasm config then. And here at some point it serializes it, right? Do we think it serializes it? What does push do? Oh, it says OCI image manifest build in OCI distribution. And then it sets the media type. And then it actually like takes the client and builds it.
Your cursor is messing me up because I keep thinking that you're reading terminal output because it's a half screen away.
Oh, I'm sorry. What if I reshare my screen?
Oh, it's totally fine. Because when you highlight, then it pops up and I can see it.
Yeah, but it's still a little annoying, I assume. So let's try this. And then can you select my screen?
Sure can. There we go.
Love that. Nope, still broken.
That's fine. I can see where, as long as you move your cursor, like where the highlighted text is, then I'll be able to follow along.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so we pull manifest and config. That's a pull new from, okay, we're gonna have to do a little shenanigans where we manually do this. Config to config layer, vec component layer.
Is there not any kind of like build exposed from that package or that library?
There does not appear to be.
Okay.
But there should be, I think. Okay, so this, we're replacing this push right here with the innards, which is this. And then the rest of it should be, I think we can skip the client, but everything else we can just stick in there and then see whatever we're missing we need to wire up. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this should not compile in the slightest. So why is the entire thing not read? Just took a second. Okay. Okay, so we're fixing some things. We're saying does not have description. Okay, that is fine. For now, we can skip the annotation stuff. No field auth. Do we need auth anywhere?
It shouldn't need auth because we're not pushing anything.
Exactly. Okay. Do we have, okay, if we name this config, then that will now align with line 150. Component layer. That is our component layer. Then annotations. Cannot find value of annotations in scope. Well, that's fine. Let's just build it like this. I think, yeah, hash map. Or is that correct? Does not know where OCI image manifest is. Well, we can pull that in. Import OCI image manifest. Now it might be complaining about our annotations. Artifact type. Oh, it doesn't like that. Okay.
It's going to be given to it as a string.
Probably. Okay, so what is annotations here? It's an option of a hash map of string. So we need, or let's say that's sum for now.
What is that helper doing, the sum?
It's so OCI manifest build is expecting an option of hash map. We have a hash map here. So we wrap it in a sum because that's the type it expects, the sum variant of the option enum. Okay. Does that make sense? Are you follow?
Not too much.
Okay.
Well, so I understand that they're different types. Like the hash map is not the same as an option of a hash map. Different types. Like they're the data structure underneath is probably the same, but they're defined differently in the language. So like, how is some just doing like a type conversion of those two things to translate it to what it expects, or?
Okay, so what we have here is an enum. This is a little Rust basics. Uh, the enum option, right? This is an enum named option. It can take any type, so it's like generic.
Okay.
And it says, okay, either we have a sum generic type, or we have a none. This is instead of nil. So in Go, you would have nil or T or something like that, roughly, right?
Okay.
The signature here of OCI image manifest build, its last parameter is it says, I take an option of hash map. So either you pass in a sum with a hash map in it, or just as legal, you give it a none. Okay, my cat escaped. And that's also valid. But we create this variable here, and so we're saying, we're just gonna not give it we'll always pass a hash map, but the hash map can be empty. That should also work. In fact, they should have just done that, because an empty hash map costs you nothing, so it's free, does not allocate. So just always expecting a hash map of annotations would be equal in terms of API. The optionality is a no op essentially.
Making more sense. Almost
Okay.
there. I just need more Rust basic knowledge, but that's helpful.
Okay. In Go terms, it says could also take nil if you don't want to give it a hash map, but instead we're choosing an empty hash map with no annotations, which is also kind of the same thing as like, nothing.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then the final error, we have a couple more errors, but the big one here is we need a Wasm manifest data, which is just some sort of constant. So we can just grab that here and say, I don't know, here, sure. And we can strip the pub probably. So that's our Wasm manifest data. And then what else we got? Oh wait, did I put it in the right spot? Where did I put it? No, this is the wrong spot. Hold on. We need to put it here. Oh, it's unhappy about this. There. Now we solved this. Now it says, I would like a file and I would like an author. So let's go up here and copy over the arguments, I think. Where's file? Where's author? Author, reference, file, pathbuff. So this, there, and then.
Okay, these are the flags for that subcommand.
Yep.
Okay.
Now our struct, the self, has these flags and they will always exist, and we can get them. Now it's still complaining about something. Config.toConfig. So it doesn't like that. What happens if we don't do that? Will this complain? It doesn't like that. Okay. Well, we can fix this by importing toConfig, the trait, because it says, hey, I'd like to use this trait, but the trait must be imported in order to work. It isn't. Okay, and we are now compiling. So I think that means, oh, there we go. Yeah, we do not actually want process output. I think that means we can now run our thing, OCI output, and then this will complain about a path not being there, because the path argument is not optional, so it must always be present.
Right.
Yeah.
And the path is just to the component, I would imagine.
Yep. WebAssembly. Okay. Now it has that. Now it will do the thing, but we're not yet printing it. So let's write it out. Let's just hard code, or we can say output path, right? Or how do you think we should do this?
First, could you just put it to the standard out, whatever the value is?
That's going to be a OCI binary. We'll be printing a binary to standard out.
Okay. What? So is it only packaging the component itself and not creating all the layers on top?
Is it only packaging the component itself, not creating the layers on top?
So
I think it's
is
doing
this
all of it.
particular command, so if you look at like when we extracted it, is this only converting, like what? I just don't know what's all in here, I guess.
No, you're right. I think we can just do this. Sorry, I thought I was compiling the entire binary. But I think you're right, and it isn't. And so if we do this, it will output the structure.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's the manifest structure. And
Great,
then see,
lovely.
it did the digest, so it created a shell for the component file. It added your descriptor in here and your annotations some.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that's what. Okay, fantastic. So it is JSON. That's what I was expecting this config to be. Is just the whole JSON.
Oh, I don't think this is outputting JSON yet. This is just Rust struct notation.
Okay.
But it will become JSON. It's almost you can see it, right? You can
Yeah,
squint and be
you
like,
can
"Hey, hold
see
on."
how it would be JSON or could be JSON.
Yes, and it probably implements SERDI
So
manifest.
I wonder. Probably in the push, it's also wrapping. It's putting it in an image index, which is that top layer, and then it. Yeah. Okay. Well, now you could at least play around with the annotations and try to pass in description
Yeah,
and see if it adds to the output.
let's try that.
Because then we could try to like figure out why it's not uploading it that way.
Exactly. Okay. And I think we can just, no description. Okay. Available fields. The
Get a
other
new
ones.
flag.
Yes. Push args. We have, sorry about the scrolling. We have this one here, and then we can stick that on here. And now we can say this, and then description, WASI. What did we say? This is WASI net? No. Sockets spec or something. Oh, I didn't close correctly. Oh, it doesn't like that mutability thingy. That's fine. Cannot, and this must be mute as well. Let me try this again. I could probably close this. It's not doing anything. Annotations, org open containers image description.
So it's adding it to the config properly, just with the pushing, it's not doing, something's wrong with the push.
Something's wrong with the push. That's right. But that's not too bad. We can do one more thing here. Can we do one more thing? I think we could do one. So something that like irks me a little bit, and this is still related to an earlier thing, is if we do this, then right now we're encoding it as annotations is sum and like empty. Whereas what you really want is like
Just
not to have the
empty.
annotations key. Yeah. Maybe this crate has like done the annotations correctly, and it says like, skip serialize. Yeah, here, skip serializing if option is none. So if you give it a none, the annotations key won't even like be inserted. It'll just be omitted.
Okay.
Oh, actually, it's fine. The specification says if there are no annotations, then this property must either be absent or be an empty map. What we're doing now is hard coding it to be an empty map. Ideally, we might have made it. It doesn't seem like it matters. Anyway, okay, yes. Sorry, let's not mess around with that. I'm sort of starting to spiral where I'm seeing like optimizations and things. I'm like, okay, maybe let's. Okay, it seems like we took this code out from the client part here, right? And as long as we give it the annotations, which appears to be what we're doing, then I think we're fine. Are we doing this correctly? Annotations, none. Oh, that's why things are not working. Okay.
So try to push again.
here,
Yeah.
push
Well,
has
in
a
your
last annotations field, and we are setting annotations in our conf,
but not passing into the push.
but not passing it into the push. And I don't know why this doesn't, like, why does it, I don't know what's happening.
Maybe we don't, maybe just create the other. Yeah, just do it that way.
Yeah.
Because then it probably, that push merges the annotations with the config and everything will be happy.
Yes. Okay. I will just run that same command off screen again because we've just updated our push command. So that's an interesting one to follow up with the whackage authors. If that doesn't do the thing that needs to do, then that might be a bug of sorts. I don't know. Okay. Looking on my screen on the sockets and then going back to 0, 2. And then there should be, yeah, okay, it worked. Okay, hold on. Let's
Shared
screen share
screen?
this.
Yeah.
Yes. Present. Stop screen. Okay. Present. Share screen. Select window. This is, doesn't say what the program is. It only uses the title. So OCI RS? No. Package WASI sockets. Yes, that's the one. Okay. Yes. Here. About this version, the WASI socket specification. Great. Okay. We got it to work. And now here, labels. Oh, what? It's called labels, not annotations? What?
Well, yeah, that makes sense because they translate C -- label. They're
Wait,
using
but
the labels.
was it saying that that is what we had to do?
Yeah, if you looked at the docs, it was saying that the label field.
Yeah, it said it about the label field there, but I thought the OCI specification called it something else. It actually called it annotations.
Mm-hmm.
So is this a translated Docker version of the OCI thing?
It's translated to the OCI image manifest.
Yeah, because what we're sending though over the wire appears to be like the key here that we're calling labels. I think we're calling annotations.
Yep. I don't know why that translates that way. If like a Docker decides to translate the annotations to labels, they don't want to use that terminology. I don't remember that in the spec, but
yeah, good question. That is that might be a bug. I'm gonna say that's actually probably just a bug on GitHub side. Because we're not pushing a Docker container, we're pushing like an arbitrary OCI image.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah. Anyway, sorry. Yes. Okay.
But it at least updated the description field. That's a happy note to end on.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm completely in like bug fix mode where I'm like, okay, we've got a thing. We have identified like things we can improve. How do we land this? How do we schema it? Rather than like, oh, holy shit, we did a thing. We managed to get it to work. Which, yeah, you're right. Okay. Coming back to Earth, we managed to do a thing. Yes, exactly. All right, we did the thing we said we would do. How are we feeling? How are we doing?
I'm feeling good because there's a path for Rust essentially right now. And you could use ORAS in theory to recreate that same OCI schema.
Yes.
And more tools will be developed for different languages so that they can do a very similar thing.
Yes.
And we got to take a way to look into how ORAS could make that easier. So if your language doesn't support it or you're on the other side of the fence, you have a mechanism to pull artifacts and push artifacts from OCI for Wasm components.
I suspect even for some languages, we may just even want to provide a C library. So you take Whackage or something similar, and you compile it to, you give it C bindings, and then say .NET or some other language, just uses that. Goes off, uses that, works. I don't know. But yes. Sorry. Stray thought.
That works. My brain's melting. Let's see here.
Yes.
Next up, I guess we should figure out the deploy, like the final step. Like, let's get this on different things.
Yeah.
Which can be next week, and then that kind of completes the journey, at least for getting it deployed, built, deployed, and stored, and all that good stuff. So that's probably a good place to pick up next time.
Yeah, I'd love that, because we indeed we can sort of trivially push this now, it seems, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any component.
So exactly. Oh, what could also be fun? I agree we should do deployment first, but start getting whackage into like some sort of like action.
Okay.
So you can do like a GitHub action where you say, hey, I would like to publish a new version. And then that creates the artifact like for you. And potentially that would even...
CI/CD for components.
Okay.
I'm with you.
And if we do it general enough, then we can skip the... Here's my thinking. You're a Python developer. There is no Python native version of this yet, but you can pull the action down and it will build it for you. Mm-hmm. So it's not first class, but it's second class and still pretty damn easy. And eventually we get to first class. Potentially.
Okay. So, yeah, so a generic action that can compile any language because it's been compiled already to a component. So a generic action that we'll be able to upload. Is that the idea? Or would this action also be responsible for building the component?
I think not building. I think what it should do is point...
Just uploading?
Just the packaging and uploading.
Okay. Packaging. So an OCI package.
Take Wasm, convert to OCI, upload to...
Push it.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it. No, that would... I like that a lot.
Okay.
That would be helpful.
But deploy first. Like let's get this thing actually deployed first, and then we can like recap the story from build, upload, deploy, and then we get to make that like fully tight.
Okay. Fantastic. I got a note for it. All right. Well, I'm going to take a break. My brain.
Yes.
So
okay, this was super fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the time. We'll be back Monday.
Yes.
All right. See you then, Josh.
For sure.
Thanks for your time. Have a good weekend.
Bye. You as well. Bye.